Hey everybody, welcome to a live webinar here from amazing San Francisco.
San Francisco.
That's fantastic. We're here live from Inbound for 2025 event marketing trends. How exciting is that? Welcome to Hilary, Laney, VP of Customer Success
Hi,
at
everyone.
Swoogo. How are you, Hilary?
I'm doing so good. I'm excited to be here. This is going to be a really fun conversation. We have a lot of content to get into with all of you. We've experienced a full day at HubSpot Inbound, and it's been so exciting. How about you? How are you feeling?
Oh my God, it's so exciting. I'm Julius Solaris. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I'm the founder of Push. And yeah, we're excited to be here. We want you to be active in the chat as well. We want to make sure that you ask as many questions as possible. We're going to be probably an hour long, 40 minutes of presentation. We want to go to your questions as well that you may have about the event, what we saw, the presence of event profs, things that go wrong, things that we loved. But yeah, before we do that, I want to start with thanking Swoogo for doing this together with Push. How exciting is that?
So
what a great
exciting.
partnership.
Yeah.
I love it. And
great.
yeah, we'll tell you also about what we did last night, which was super exciting as well with the company. We had a lot of fun and my trauma from playing ping pong.
Yeah.
I'll tell you more about that. It's going to be exciting. But okay, let's talk about Inbound. For people that are not aware, Hilary, what is Inbound?
So Inbound is an event hosted by HubSpot, and it's taking place in San Francisco. So historically, this event has been where they're headquartered in Boston. They've always had it taking place there, and now it's in San Francisco, which is really exciting. New location for them. Yeah, it brings out all the marketers. So, you know, HubSpot is a marketing platform, and one of the really exciting things about this year's event that we've seen is a huge increase in event professionals that have been at this event. So more to talk about there, but it's been a great experience so far.
Yeah, right. This is like a user conference for a technology platform that evolved into an event where marketers from all over North America and beyond sort of gather. And so we've always been complaining about the lack of event representation within this event. And so it's great to see that finally we're talking events, because events are hot. Everybody wants to do events. And so what's in it for you listening to this? I think the most important part is to first understand what's trending, what a big marketing platform is doing for marketers and what is resonating with marketers today, so that you can be more strategic about your marketing going forward. But also, you know, what are the conversations happening? What are they actually doing instead of saying? Because we see a lot of that. And so, as you mentioned, Hilary, Inbound has moved from Boston to San Francisco, and we're here at the Moscone.
Yes.
How was your experience with that?
It's been great so far. You know, I've been to Dreamforce before, and this is my first time attending Inbound, so I was really excited to see what this experience would be like. Sort of, you can't help but compare, right? I mean, they're competing companies, and they've decided to come to Moscone to have this event. And it wasn't a full takeover. You know, it's a smaller audience, not as many people. So it wasn't a full takeover of the space out front. But you can see from this image, the branding is really prominent. It's a beautiful entrance. It's very welcoming. The reg experience was positive. I think what's interesting too is they're tapping into a whole new market here. There's a lot of newcomers at this event. I've had several conversations with people who have said they've been wanting to attend this event, but because it's been over on the East Coast, they haven't been able to. So just interesting to think about that market. You know, coming into a new market and attracting new attendees has been a really exciting thing to see, and I think they've done a really good job so far.
Both first timers as well, right?
Exactly.
First time for the both of us being here. And I guess, you know, and by the way, all of these images, it's the amazing capabilities of Hilary and myself yesterday taking pictures on the show floor for you. We've been turning around this until 10 p.m. last night, so you better like it. I'm just kidding. We'd love to show you this, but like what we're trying to say here is like the branding, the prominence of the branding, so pervasive throughout the entrance and inside. Once you walk inside, like literally all over the place, not in a disturbing, sort of annoying, spammy way, but like in a subtle but still present way. That why does it matter for you? This is a user conference, right? Yes, it is an event where you can purchase a ticket with sponsors and exhibitors, but it's a user conference. And the message, the objective here is to make the brand resonate with people. And so the presence it's often almost underlooked for a lot of user conferences. It's almost like, okay, let's set up a logo for the event. This event has its own website, name, social handle account, so it has its own identity, but HubSpot is also present. And it's so important, right? Because we always talk about events as opportunities to shorten the funnel with a lot of more touch points. And the way you replicate the brand within the event experience creates like multiple touch points that kind of shorten the funnel when you're trying to recall, okay, what software should I use? Is it either this one that I've never seen before or this beautiful orange brand that I've seen 1,000 times when I was at the event? And so that matters for the overall experience. But start with first things first, I guess the pre-event experience being interesting, right? And we had two touch points here. One was the pre-event webinar and one was the session selector. You attended the webinar. I didn't. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so as a first timer, I was invited to attend this webinar, which took place, I want to say it was about 3 weeks ago. And it was a great attempt at bringing new people to the event into the fold before they even get on site. So they covered all kinds of logistical things, all the things that as an attendee you don't want to have to worry about when you're at the event, so you can just focus on the important elements like the content. They covered all of that. They did, floor plans. They talked about reg hours. They answered questions from people in the audience. It was a very engaging conversation and something that I just think it's a great strategy because then you create this experience for people so that when they get to the event, they're ready. Like they're immersed. I knew exactly where to go, when to be where. I already felt confident before I even came on site.
Right, and then I was texting you yesterday to meet up to do a little inspection of the event for this webinar, and it felt like you knew way more than me because you attended the webinar and I didn't, and I was trying to make sense of all of the overload, right? But why does this matter, right? Why a webinar like this matters, and why does a session selector matters? For those of you that read the newsletter at Bold Push, thank you all. We appreciate you. But like for all of those, I covered the session selector. I think it was like an incredible moment in how they vibe coded a way for you to select sessions that it's powered by Anthropic. And you just basically prompt it and you get a customized agenda done for you, which is what a lot of other platforms have been trying to do for years, but actually this works. That's the main difference. It's like, I'm interested in event sessions and there they are. I went through all of them. They're actually relevant sessions. And once you click on it, it builds the agenda based on recommendations that you can get out of your initial selections. So good, so working, but why does it matter? As a first-time attendee, I'm confused. I don't know what's going to happen. There's 200 sessions. Even thinking about it, even thinking about scrolling through 200 sessions give me a headache right now. So think about that. Like, if I can do it quickly and I can have a webinar that is instructing me about these things, great. And first timers right now are the most critical personas within your audience. They're the ones responsible for the crisis that we're seeing in late registration patterns, right? Our research says that 13% register 1 week out. Merit's research says that 45% register 4 weeks out. So this is sometimes the result of not taking care of first-timers and thinking about structuring a conversation with them way before the event, creating pages like landing pages for them, designed for them, getting them to familiarize with the event so that they don't make last-minute decisions. They're not the ones also that churn. There's a lot of churn meaning I come 1 year, I'm not going to go back the next year because you didn't take care of me as a first timer,
that first impression.
So a lot of that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But
and something I want to touch on really quick too, Julius, that is going to be, I think, a common theme that all of you will see from us as we talk about this event. You can tell that HubSpot was very intentional about the segmentation of their audience and really looking at, they know who is going to be there. I mean, this is a great example of that first timer session. They know who those key groups are, and you're going to see that theme throughout this. There's examples of them being very intentional of reaching out to those audiences and making sure that they have a space.
Okay, so the next one is going to be the show floor, the exhibition
Yep.
area. Right off the bat, I want to say, that a lot of the HubSpot people read the newsletter and they've seen like what I've been banging on for a long time. But I mean, jokes aside, that it's a great validation for what they're doing in terms of what we've been seeing for a long time right now. What I'm referring to is this concept that we call the high street show floor, meaning a show floor exhibitory area where all the action is happening in the same spot. It's not in a million places. It's not happening in like 15 different floors, or like we have to travel for like 2 days to get to the next session, which has been a problem with events like, say, South by Southwest in London, where it was like a distributed event all over the place and people had to go from one place to the other and they were making it on time for the sessions. But why does this matter from a marketing perspective? Well, if you're an event professional and you read the exhibitors' feedback forms, or if you're a field marketer and you invest in exhibition spaces, you know that if you drive people away from the show floor, it's going to be empty. And for a show like this that doesn't have hosted buyer meetings or appointments or any type of meetup pre-scheduled, you need to have constant traffic in the show floor area. So this way of putting it all together works so well. What did you think about that, Hilary?
Yeah, I agree. I thought it is working really well. Now keep in mind, we're on day 2 right now. So for any of you watching who are still at the event, be sure to check this out and explore it in the way that we did, because it is broken out in a really interesting way. They've got 3 zones, basically. There's the innovation zone, the impact zone, and then the HubSpot zone. And what I love about it is that they've put all of the exhibitors kind of centralized between the 2 main zones, the impact and the innovation. And then they have these experiences that are happening out in the outer perimeter of it. So you're kind of forced as an attendee, as you enter that exhibitor hall, to experience the booths and the exhibitors and get that, eyeballs on logos, which is really critical. And then you're kind of heading to your experience that you're wanting to have. And I think it's a really smart way to get that engagement right out of the gate with the sponsors. But as an attendee, I didn't feel that pressure because I had other things that I was going to be doing there as well.
Agreed. And like the risk of having a show floor like this is that it gets confusing. It gets too much going on. And so that categorization makes it simple for people to navigate, immediately know where to go, which is something that we don't see, especially in a lot of our industry shows where it's like super confusing, a lot of stuff going on. You have to walk a lot to get from one place to the next. And so, playing with like clear areas where it's almost like a theme park, right?
Yes.
Where you know exactly if you're going to Adventureland, what you're going to get, right?
And what was your thought about, they had the HubSpot area kind of separate on your way to the keynote. What were your thoughts on that?
I mean, the HubSpot area, which was basically a way for them to communicate the product better. Probably one of the best demo areas I've ever seen in any user conference ever. Like how they design it, how they put different personas in different stations. Like this is for marketers, this is for salespeople, this is for developers, this is for partners. And you have different demo areas, a little presentation area next to it, G2 review spot where you can submit your review and get merchandise. So well thought out. And also like even the stage where they were hosting the content was a mini stage, which like honestly, like if you took that backdrop away, it would look like awful. But that backdrop, so well done. Sorry, I don't have a picture of that. But send me a message on social. I'll share it with you later on. Looks so well and so beautifully done. Completely changed the atmosphere. I think
agree.
like the branding throughout has been incredible.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Next one, let's introduce the big theme here. Yeah. I feel that what the event excelled at and still excelling at. Again, if you're at Inbound, please do reach out. We're going to be there for today, and I'm going to be there tomorrow too. There's this overarching theme of connection that, we've been talking about this now for the past 3 years after the pandemic, how the switch from content to connection is happening across the board. anecdotal evidence, research, clients, wherever you turn around, everybody's saying the same thing. Content's, yes, still important, but connection is what matters right now for people to attend events, right? The way they did it with so many touch points has been incredible. And one of those was the spot, right?
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, this was a fun engagement. I love this activation. You can see on the left there, the archway, that was kind of the entrance into the space. And the intention here, the theme is like this experience of showing up to university for the first time. And they had all these different activities that you could participate in. And everything was really well branded. None of it was too overwhelming. It was all kind of around the perimeter, and then they had tables in the middle so people could kind of co-mingle. And it was just a great opportunity to get the lay of the land of the event, what the experience was going to be like. They had games. You can see that picture in the middle. There was certain activities that you could play. And that photo on the right is a bingo opportunity, where I thought this was really clever. They have this grid where it's got different little activities that you need to do and seek out across the whole event. And if you get it filled out, that's how you get your swag at the event. So you could exchange it for that. And one thing I will say about this space too, that I really appreciated is they found a way to create these really engaging interactions between people that you would normally find at a smaller event. Mm-hmm. And this was really an opportunity for you to kind of have sort of a micro event experience within the larger experience. So I spent some time in here for sure. I played all the games, and
you can tell from your pictures,
time.
Even the ping pong, beer pong version of it.
Yeah,
super fun.
Yeah.
But why does this matter, right? Well, first off, the feeling of orientation at a college, if you attended college, university, that feeling of getting into orientation day with all the clubs, where you're confused and overwhelmed by everything going around you. Finally, you can find little pockets of connection with different people and among yourself. So there's a lot going on in there that makes you feel connected to others without pushing it, making it analog, finally non-tech. I think it's so important to have these analog ways. I mean, still, you have the tech, and we'll talk about that. You have a lot of that. Mm-hmm. But there's these ways where, and so it's all sort of picture-driven. You can take a picture of yourself, hang it on the wall, mm-hmm. and you go to connect with other people. I love all about this. It was such a clever idea, and very contained as well, as you mentioned.
And nobody was on their cell phones. You bring up the tech piece, everyone was interacting. I mean, you couldn't help yourself because it was very hands-on. Yeah. It was great.
The next theme was really the brain days and the exchange. Again, along the same sort of connection, major sort of driver for the event here. So brain dates, for those that are not familiar with, this is a platform within the platform, so double app. But it's a great idea. It's the idea, the concept that I don't have, my topic is not represented in the agenda. I want to talk about event tech in events today. Just making an example, maybe there were sessions about it. And I proposed my session, and whoever wants to talk about that, we meet in a dedicated area, which is the one that you see on the left-hand side. That's the entrance of it. Join the conversation, where we can host either one-to-ones or one-to-groups, which is great. I think in terms of the way they did the area, the implementation of it, I've seen different brain date lounges, as they call it, across different events. Probably one of the best ones.
I agree.
Picnic themed with swings, and the idea is to, again, create another layer of connection. There's a little bit more structure. It's not just random, serendipitous, but it's more, topic driven. So we're talking about something, we're doing business, because this is a business event. We're not here just to party. And then the next one, right next to it, is the exchange, which is this room that we were impressed when we saw it, right? We were drawn to it. What did you think about it?
Yeah, as we were walking up on it, it was kind of early in the day, and a lot of people were in the keynote, the morning keynote, so it was pretty quiet. But even just seeing the space and the materials that they had inside of it, you can see in that photo, they've got a couple whiteboards, a lot of Sharpie markers, and they had a little coffee stand, beverage bar inside. And the lighting, so all those windows were tinted, and then they had kind of this green neon lighting that sort of lit up the space in a really unique way. Very eye-catching. Julius and I couldn't help. We walked right into it. We're like, what's going on in here? How can we participate?
We risk being escorted out of the premises.
It was good though.
So fun, right? And this is like, you can see the progression of this. Think about like a funnel of connection that starts with the big event, whatever, random meetings, then it goes into the spot with the orientation, then it goes into the brain dates, and then this is the exchange where you're actually doing hands-on work. Like, I saw the sessions, it's like with whiteboards, it's like hands-on. And then they have also the academy, which is like pure training after that. So different levels of connection. Why does this matter? At the end of the day, we're here to connect people, and this is the biggest marketing message that you have for your event today. If we're talking about event marketing in general, it's your ability to connect people at the event. Why? Why does it matter? Because the monodirectional content, probably is going to resonate. It's going to be tied to the speaker. And again, it's like that vicious circle. Find the next best speaker, whatever. Maybe you find it, maybe you don't. And it's a zero-sum game. Relying on attendees' connection, making them connect with each other, first off, creates community. This is not just a buzzword. It actually happens. People remember that. And then it goes off, and this community wants to hang out the next year. So your marketing spend goes down. Exciting, right? This is
well, and I think for marketers, it's more ROI, right? So there's more points of measurement. So experiences like this, you're not just taking in attendance numbers to a session or a building. You're looking at how something like this, it's demonstrating to all of us, this is how they're consuming the content. This is what it means to engage. This is important to them. And so it just gives us that much more information and value as we move forward.
All right, vibe check with the audience here. How are we doing in the chat? I can't see the chat, but I want to see action in the chat. Like, I don't do events without action in the chat. So I want to see comments. Like, give me a number 1 if you're enjoying this. 111, type 1. I want to see all the ones in the chat. I want to see a lot of that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And start thinking about your questions, right? Because we're here for you as well, right? And also, if you want me to go and shoot something this afternoon, tell us more, right? I'm going to go and report it for you for next content. So vibe check with all of you. We're doing great. Next one is the app, right? Interesting experience because it's been RFID powered. I think we got to say something about the registration flow. Incredible. I mean, I've been at a couple of thousand people events with nightmare of 45 to 50 minute line to get in 2025. Can you believe it? This is 12,000 sold out event. Took a second at the peak. I was there at 8:30, 9 a.m. in the morning, literally the opening before the keynote. I got in seconds because of the way it was logistically done. But we're not going to talk about logistics a lot. I think the RFID touch point, you had to click on it to get in. I didn't like that as much, but you had to check in every area, and you could use it also to connect with other people. Now, what I loved about that is the fact that then you can refer back to the app and find all of your touch points in the app, which creates some sort of a timeline memory of what you did at the event, who you met, the activations that you saw. And also you can rate them, which creates a touch point for the organizer to then analyze, first off, all of your user journey, make some sense from a data perspective of all of it, so to create the next experiences and see what resonated, what didn't. Create sort of an account so that we don't forget. I think it's important, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I've actually had, sometimes the phone app experience can be really challenging. And I think everyone's trying to figure out what is that right solution and how do we get it all the way that we need it. And I've been really impressed with this one. I actually, kind of going back to the brain date experience, I registered for a couple of those. And I know what you're talking about with that multi-authentication. In this case, and I'm not sure if it's because HubSpot built it themselves, but that integration felt pretty seamless this time around. And you just went in and signed up for things, and it's all, you have your favorite list, and I was pretty impressed with it. It's been a good experience so far.
It's got to be said, we love the HubSpot team. They're such great people, and we love the conference and everything. But if you're relying on the app and on Click and people to do matchmaking and interacting, and we'll see how you're leveraging content creators as well. The Wi-Fi has got to work. Otherwise, it's difficult. Once you take the Wi-Fi away in San Francisco, at the Moscone, in the epicenter of technology, well, it's going to be difficult, people. So I'm going to leave it at that. And then we'll go speaking to the next one of some of the activations that we saw. this is like a concept that I talked about in the newsletter. It's what we call the hybrid booth, right? It's one idea that we've seen a lot implemented on the stage.
Yeah.
And what we mean by that is literally a space that has multiple messages, multiple objectives. If we're thinking about the funnel and people like attending an event, some may be there just to brand recognize, some may be there just at the top of the funnel to just get to know your product. Some may need like a mid-funnel sort of conversation. Others are ready to buy, they just want a demo and you're going in. And so a lot of companies are thinking that way, and this is a TikTok booth where on the right-hand side you can see the discovery bar where you're having sales conversations, a little bit more hands-on. They're obviously pulling their CRM integrations and they're pulling TikTok marketing, and then on the left-hand side there's someone presenting here with huge crowd, and again, let's reinforce that content at the booth. It's like the top activation for 2025. I said it in my trends. It's like the one that draws, from my little experience, whenever I've done it at some events in that areas, all of a sudden a swarm of 60 people show up, materialize for the benefit of your booth and everybody surrounding you, because traffic matters. What was your impression of this?
Yeah, I love this. So Julius and I were walking the floor and he called this out, and it just right away it clicked for me how important this is, because again, it comes back to that segmentation of the audience, and everyone learns differently. Everyone likes to consume things in a different way. And so I think this really creates an opportunity for the booth and the brand to pull people in different ways and have those engagement opportunities. There's a couple more examples
yeah, we have
here
another
that we can
example
go through.
of that.
I mean, this one's beautiful. We both loved this one. This was a great space.
This is agent.ai, and what they're doing on the left picture, they have this, suggest what you want our agents to do. And, if we pick it, we're going to contact you and you win something. So that's pretty clever, right? Because it's a way to get people engaged that, again, are top of the funnel. They may understand what the agents are. But the message is important. Agents are going to work for you, and so tell us what to do, and we're going to work for you, right? So clever.
It's so smart.
On the left-hand side, there's a little presentation area, and then on the very left, there's demo areas. So this is a booth that does 3 things. Now, obviously, you got to have the space to do that, right?
The budget.
I mean, the budget, of course, right? I can see you in the chat, budget, budget. But you can do this on a smaller scale as well if you're clever about it. Obviously, think about not being too clumsy. At 10 by 10, it can be a stretch, but even at like a 20 by 20, you can start like thinking about a couple of activations that serve different purposes so that you're not all in one message, unless you're launching a product or you're doing something very specific, right? Do you want to be out with just the one message? But multiple uses of the booth, which is nothing new, right? But why is it trending? What is the difference between a trend and a new thing? The trend is like something that's all of a sudden, you see it everywhere, right? It's resonating with people. So very interesting. Next topic, content and the Creator Lounge.
The Creator Lounge.
This was fun. Creators.
You loved this one. You loved the matcha bar.
Oh my God, this is a matcha bar. So what you had to do, you had to subscribe to the newsletter that they just launched. So they launched a new newsletter for marketers. You subscribe to the newsletter and you get this beautiful matcha drink, 3 versions of it. The line was incredible. And obviously this is subscribers to the newsletter. So it's a very soft touch point that is providing value to the people because it's content that you're getting for free. But you're ensuring, subscribers, very quality, high quality subscribers to the newsletter. I love it.
Yeah, and if you're here, and I'm planning to do this afternoon, they're gonna have a spray tattoo artist in place of the matcha bar. So the matcha bar was yesterday. I also love that too. Having, each day a different vendor come in and contribute to the experience because it brings people back. I wanna go back today. I already went yesterday, but I'm definitely going back this afternoon.
Yeah, the whole area was great, right? You see this corner here with those beautiful plants. There were 4 different corners where, as a creator, you could shoot with different backgrounds. Oh my God, that level of attention to detail, so great.
And it wasn't branded. So this was all, you can see it here. This doesn't look anything like the HubSpot brand. It doesn't even look sponsored. But and they did that intentionally so that these creators could come in there, really use their imagination, not be restricted to the brand around them, but rather be able to just use their creativity to create that content.
Why does it matter to have creators at your event? Because content is
important.
by far what is drawing a lot of CMOs to think events. And this is something that people don't necessarily make click. Yeah, I mean, it is the personal touch point with the brand. We understand that. Very important in person, but also the opportunity that you have to create content at events. Content at events perform, I think it's 20 to 30%, don't quote me on this, better on social media. This is stats that we've seen from LinkedIn because it's unique, right? It doesn't look like you're shooting in your little studio at home or a beautiful studio here in San
where
Francisco,
we are.
right? This is very unique, right?
Yeah.
You're going to remember that, and it's going to perform better with the algorithm. And so marketers understand this, and every content opportunity, we counted it for one session, 1 hour. You have sometimes 100 to 120 insights, individual insights that you can repackage and reuse some way, shape, or form. And speaking of that, obviously within the creator spot, we had this podcasting station, right? What did you think about that, Hilary?
I think it's smart. I think if an event can pull this off, they should definitely do it. It pulls in new audiences. Think about it. The podcaster is in this new space. They're recording an episode, and they get to talk about the event and the experience, and it gives HubSpot the opportunity to tap into a whole new market, essentially. Plus, it's a great opportunity for that podcaster because they're walking away with that episode and rich content that, like you said, we can repurpose. And, they had a staff there that was helping them. There was a little green room space for them to get prepared. And I thought it was really smart.
So here's the power trick for you listening to this, because I think we should take this concept further as the events industry. It came to me a week ago where I was watching Bloomberg occasionally. I just bumped on it. And I saw all of a sudden an episode of a podcast that Alex Rodriguez does on it with a guest, Magic Johnson, from the Milken Institute conference on stage. So
cool.
Think about that. So this is an investment of obviously celebrities on stage that usually are confined to a keynote. They're on stage doing the podcast episode. So it draws all the audience that follows the podcast, right? Because they immediately recognize the format. Like you would have the Marketing Millennials, for example, podcast on stage here at HubSpot, right? Because all that crowd that's listening to the pod, oh my God, live episode, I want to be part of it, right? So they're going to be there. So it's drawing the audience in. And then you record a podcast that looks different and amazing and unique. That content goes out on Bloomberg. I discover about the Milken Institute conference. We're talking about it now, right? And all of a sudden we know about this conference that I didn't know before. I probably should have known before, but this is so great. The corner, to record for people, but also bring it on stage because we want to have that marketing effect.
That's smart.
They introduced the loop, right? The new concept of marketing. HubSpot introduced it with a new funnel. The funnel is over. That's what they said. There's no more funnel, now it's the loop. What the loop means is that we have to go in circles, right? Instead of going down just one way. And so this is exactly what we're talking about. Think about the loop of content, how it comes all together, and it starts again in the next year. Oh my God, I'm gonna be quiet. Let's talk about Spark Studio.
That's good stuff, it's great. Yeah, Spark, this was probably my favorite activation. I love doing this. I sat in on a session yesterday, and this was a really unique experience. You had to register, so it had limited availability. And once you checked in, you were assigned to a table. So you can't see it in this photo, but on the perimeter of this space in the middle, they had tables set up. And on those tables were sort of some workshopping, tools and things like that, like Post-its, Sharpies, my favorite, Post-it pads, the whole thing. And so you were brought into this group, and there was about 5 people at each table. And the concept was that you sit there for about 45 minutes with your group through a guided experience, creating a company that solves a real world problem. And so really going after, people who are interested in startups. You didn't even have to be, though. We had a couple people that weren't even, wouldn't think of themselves in that way, but it sparks that imagination and gets people engaged. And, we met and started talking right away and collaborating. They had us get up and do different activities throughout the experience. And it was just very well thought out. again, it kind of comes back to knowing your audience.
Right.
And they knew that they would have people at this event who would love to partake in something like this, and it worked.
Yeah.
At the very end of it, you got to pitch your idea. I actually loved our idea.
What was it?
So our idea, we ended up calling it The Village, and it was an AI app that basically helps working parents manage their lives. So it's not just about managing your professional life or your personal life. It's about bringing them both together. And we went on this tangent of you could even have user profiles for babysitters, your grandparents.
Shut up and take my money.
Right?
Hilary.
I'm like,
come on.
I know. I'm like, we're gonna be millionaires.
I'm ready.
No, but it was awesome. It was a really fun,
and I guess,
experience.
what is the message for you listening to this? Well, HubSpot is a tech platform that runs an ecosystem, a marketplace of integrations with a lot of other tech platforms. So thinking about the ecosystem is so vital for them. They understand that the more the ecosystem grows, which is like very similar to what Swoogo is doing in the events industry, to be honest. Like you are the HubSpot of the events industry for sure.
Woohoo.
And it's real. Like there's no other platform that has that level of integration that you have, and so that thinking about the ecosystem, that's the new topic we're introducing with this, because it's also thinking about people like Hilary and myself that have the bug of entrepreneurship, and so okay, maybe I can start something here. And then they had another activation where you go into the founder story.
I didn't see that space. You said that was cool.
Yeah, it was great, like with companies that were actually started and then became partners with HubSpot. And they had all these founders with their stories, great moving stories, and how they developed through the partnerships. And then, you have the exhibitor space with actual companies that made it. And so you can see the progression of it. You see what it looks like to what you could be in 2-3 years' time. And then nurturing the next generation of exhibitors, right? At the end of the day, this is what they're trying to do with this. And the events that miss the startups, the event that miss the entrepreneur bug, they will need to chase exhibitors with sales, and trying to get them on. And it's going to be way more difficult than a community that started together at events like these, right? So, and speaking about community, look at us.
Woohoo!
Yay.
This was so fun last night.
Oh my God, I still have trauma from being eliminated at first round at the ping pong tournament. I was flexing so much on LinkedIn and then got destroyed by a ruthless lady. I will remember you forever.
She was
mentally
amazing.
Done.
She ended up in the top 4.
Oh my God,
she was so good.
And I was like, I'm gonna play it easy. And by the time I said easy, I was 7-2 and lost. So she was so great. But I had a blast. This is one of the side events. Incredible.
Yeah. So
How many?
So Julius and I heard there's over 700 ancillary events taking place in San Francisco at this event, which is just wild. So this is one of them. This was Swoogo hosted this event at Spin, and it was a ping pong tournament, and we had a blast. Just yet another opportunity to find that local engagement, and it's always great, I think, to seek out. And I think we talked a little bit about this of how the company hosting the event going out of their way to help support these other groups in the community. So, this ancillary event, we brought HubSpot attendees, but we also had, some people from our network who were just located in San Francisco that we pulled in. And I think the more that brands can help facilitate that, once again, you're tapping into a new market and engaging people and pulling people in. And I just think we just had a blast. Yeah. I would have loved to have gone to some other ones too, but this was, I had to be here.
We got tonight.
I was so glad you were there.
That's going to happen. I'm going to go. That's I guess, again, the message here is the ecosystem, right? And so there's different takes about this. With a company that values the ecosystem so much, it's great that they're invested in the promotion of the events, right? Yeah. They're featuring some of they featured this webinar as well from their account. So they're definitely invested in that, and I love that. I think the next step for you, if you're thinking about this and where you're thinking about selling your events, or you're thinking about buying space in events, well, there's some events that are structuring this a little bit more, right? And say, okay, Spin, the location where we went, is right next to the Moscone. Yeah, so that's a very palatable sort of opportunity for people to run their own event, side event. And so what if you could pick that opportunity, that venue, as part of your sponsorship, prospectus and sell it to brands like Swoogo to say,
So
listen,
smart.
we got it sorted for you. This is one of the experiences that you can have. You're going to be featured in the program. Let's do that. You make it easy, because otherwise it's going to be, okay, who gets it first? Where are we going to go? How are we going to do? You have to help sponsors to engage in different ways. It's not just the linears and the logo and whatever. And people want more of this. So you're providing, it's a win-win-win for attendees, sponsors, and planners. So I really love the ecosystem here, but try to also capture a little bit of that as a planner, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's spill some tea on the activations. We're ready for these. General consideration about the look and feel of the booths in general, right? Two different types, right? The more uniform ones with all looking the same, right?
Yeah, they had the bubble up on top with the logo, which I really appreciated. It helps kind of train the eye. I know not all events can do this, but if you can pull it off, I think it's definitely the right move. We don't have a photo of it here, but most of you probably know what we're talking about, where they've got kind of the backdrop and then up above is the logo, and it really helps to kind of keep things organized. I'm a little bit OCD. I know you've talked about that too.
Yeah.
And it's just a little bit easier to navigate. And then you've got these which are fully immersive, and in this case, this is a Wistia booth, and I loved this. I think the color really popped. I love how they, really centralized their main core brand color in the middle. That you can't really see it in this photo because this booth was crowded all day. But there's, at the bottom of that sign, there's a couple people standing there kind of helping, answering questions, sort of that subject matter expert experience, right, when people walk in. And then around the perimeter, each one of those color sections basically told the story of their different product offerings. And I've used Wistia before, so I did have some context, but I was trying to look at it through the lens of someone who'd maybe never heard of this company or had never used it before, maybe knew of the brand. And I just thought they did a really great job right out of the gate. You knew what they did. You understood what they were about. And one cool thing too, the green is actually a partner of theirs. So they brought in an agency that produces the content and uses Wistia to get that work done. So I thought that was also a really unique element to have that partnership in place.
Very clever,
too.
right? Because it offsets some of the costs as well. So very interesting. I feel like, and by the way, 3 minutes to go, people.
Yeah,
Q&A.
I know,
Where are the
getting
questions coming? I need the
fast.
sign that the questions are coming, right? What is happening in the chat? Are you sleeping? Are you still with us? I mean, honestly, we showed up for you this morning. We got to make it after ping pong drama. So, I mean, it's honestly, we're here for you. So make sure that the questions are flowing in, because we want to make sure that we give you some value here, providing some feedback. Now, what I loved about, this is probably I identified two formats for the booths. And it's one is the standard one. The other one is this four-walled type of area that it's standard, even in some other activations. And obviously they built some of it internally, but this was it. And I feel there's a recommendation from the show to keep it consistent.
I was wondering that too.
And I think it's for user conferences specifically, it's very important. But I'm seeing more and more of that, even at bigger shows like Money 2020 or Shop Talk. I see an effort from the planners to say, well, photo booth, we're going to do the photo booth and you're sponsoring it, because we don't want our brand to be all over the place, or we want to control how it looks like the end product. So I think it's that effort in the creation of the exhibition space. It's really important.
I agree.
But let's spill some
there's a
teas
couple more here
about these ones. What do you think about Fathom?
This one. So I have mixed feelings about this one. I loved it. It brought me in. So I'll say that. It, right out of the gate, I was one of the first ones I noticed as I was walking around. I thought, what is that? And so it did pull me in. I will say it kind of got lost on me. I didn't fully understand the concept or what this company did, how the video game theme related. It took me a minute, but I will say, being from the 80s, I'm a product of the 80s, so it was kind of cool to step into this space and be able to experience some of this. But I think it's just really important that, as you're thinking about the design of these booths and the experience, you have to keep your audience in mind and really think of it through their lens. Are they going to get what we're saying? And just don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, and short attention spans, right? Catch me in a second, otherwise I'm going to be on to something else. Especially in a show floor where it's literally people dressed as aliens passing by. I'm okay, I mean, video game, but and then we experienced
this one was a great
this
example.
one.
Yeah.
right? We had to be briefed for like 3 minutes before getting in. They were trying to explain to us the experience. I mean, it's like
somewhere along the line, they must have realized we didn't nail it, so we better position these people at the front to explain it. So.
It's like when you have to explain a joke. It's not funny anymore, right? So you gotta make it like pop. You gotta make it like obvious what it is. Like as soon as it got a little bit too brainy, it's like you have to explain to me. I mean, great activation. They had like some nice merch.
I loved the swag.
Yeah, the swag was super cool. It was
awesome.
a huge line. But again, like I'm gonna bring up puppies again, right? It's like when you have the puppies. Are we here for the puppies or are we here to do business? I love the puppies. Don't get me wrong. I get so much hate about this comment that I do all the time.
Yeah, don't remove the puppies.
I'm not going to touch it. I'm not a cat person as well, so I love all of it. But you know what I mean? Like we're doing the puppies or we're doing like coffee. We're doing barista free coffee. I mean, I still remember when we've been at exhibitions, we had a line of people from all the surrounding booths getting free coffee.
Yeah.
Because that was it. It was about free coffee. Nobody cared about what we were doing. And so you got to be a little bit more strategic. A line by itself is great, but like if the message is not coming across, or if you're not working the line with people that are creating like connection and some sort of, because like, we were in line to get in. They had a line set up.
Yeah.
But like the people at the line, they were concentrating on explaining to us the activation rather than connecting with us and asking us, like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Why are you here? They were like trying to explain to us why security and we're going to be controlled by AI. Who cares? I mean, we already gave up on that. So it's fine. Sorry, we love you, user-centric. It was a great activation. But like next time, make it a little bit more obvious. All right.
Yeah.
Q&A time. Let's do it, people.
I'm excited.
All right. We're going to see some questions coming up, and obviously we're going to be at the show for
we
today.
still have another day and a half to go.
I'm going to be there tomorrow.
And we have a meetup this afternoon. With Dahlia and Rachel are hosting the meetup. The event. It's an event professional meetup. I'm super excited.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
These areas that they created, they're so cool, right? There's actual meetup areas that get a little bit of structure as well with mini presentation area. Very interesting how you can have very topical meetups, event planners. That was the one for RevOps. So there was so much going on. But yeah, I want to see the questions coming, and I can see them now. Okay, from JD. I'm planning my booth activation for the next 3 to 5 years. With attention spans shrinking, how will booths evolve in design, tech, and engagement to hold attendee focus? I mean, we were just talking about this, Hilary. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we actually started to see it, I think, today or yesterday. I think I kind of want to make a comment at the end of that sponsorship section to say, I think holistically, it was an amazing experience. I think simple is better. I think, the tech is critical, but you don't want to overcomplicate that because people aren't going to spend a ton of time, until you want to loop them in, right, and get them engaged, but you don't want to lose them in that process, which I think was kind of the last two examples. It's like I didn't feel the need to really hang around because I wasn't vested. I didn't fully understand the reason for being in there. So the simplicity piece just keeps coming to mind for me. I don't think that's going to change. And I think, if anything, that's going to become more and more critical because the noise is getting louder and there is so much out there. Yeah,
I mean, I feel that obviously we talked about this a little bit with the hybrid booth. And when we discussed that, I feel that having multiple activations also serves the attention spans in a sense, because you just short attention spans because you're switching from one thing to the next, and you're like, okay, this is not just that. I have more than that, because like we're getting so quick in making our decisions. We're like just saying, okay, this is not for me. I'm gonna move on. And so when you have multiple things going on, but like obviously you gotta be careful. It's like each thing needs to be communicated right. And so you're making it more complex when you have three things, right? Yeah. It's like you bump into the issue of like, that last one that we had, there are like 4 or 5 different areas within it. One with the things you have to try on, one with the camera pointed at you, one where you go and speak to someone and collect some.
You don't know where to start. You get lost.
I mean, that's awesome, but like if it's not clearly communicated, you're like, what am I doing here? And so you have to think like almost like theme park attraction type of parallel, where each attraction, you know exactly what you're going to get. Maybe there's some surprise about it, what you're actually going to do, but think about when you're getting into the attraction, right? You already started to be communicated with like stuff that is going to happen. You got to have a feeling of what's going to happen. It's so clear to you that the experience you're going to have is going to be there. So think about that. But also think that we're here to do business. This is the business events industry. This is not the clubbing industry. This is not the sports industry. We're here to do business. And so at the end of the day, you can choose like as many activations. You can have puppies, you can have coffee, as long as at the end of the day, you're closing business. And therefore be strategic on how you pick and choose. If you form a line, this has to be a line that is not just lead scans, it's not badge scans, but it's something that is drawing, the message has to be there, right? And we've seen it with stress and massage, right? Stress massage, or, you know, charity and puppies. Okay, I get it, right? But like, why is coffee with some tech? I don't know, energy, ugh, I don't know. So yeah, a little bit.
Coming back to the puppies and coffee, it's so great.
I want to see puppies now. All right, from James. As a planner, should I facilitate content delivery at booths? Oh, James. Yeah. I mean, Hilary, you have a background here in operations and making it happen for all of us. You know, Hilary has been hardcore delivering events for many, many years. So you have a lot of experience. Like from a tactical perspective, what do you think about this?
You know, I think what's coming to mind for me is the bite-sized pieces. And I think that as a planner, your responsibility should be around those logistics and really thinking through, you know, you're going to have the brand come in. They're thinking, what am I trying to achieve? I'm trying to get these leads. I'm trying to get people's attention. The way to actually facilitate that and get those people's attention, I think, is getting that quick form content. So really knowing how do we deliver those bite-sized nuggets. I think having the schedule is really critical. Letting people know. I think HubSpot did a good job of that at this event as well, is letting people know through the app when certain, you know, presentations within booths were going to be taking place, so that it just elevates the experience and sets the sponsor up for success and provides them some support, which is needed. You know, it's really easy when you get into that show floor as an attendee. We all know it. You get lost and you get so immersed in that. So I think, you know, the logistics around this, you have to be really intentional, kind of know when keynotes are going on and be thinking through when are the right times to be delivering that content. But I think having that available is a critical piece to success.
I mean, right now I'm speaking at booths. I've been speaking for like the past couple of years at multiple implementations. So here's my few recommendations. First off, you got to have the space, right? 100%. Because like if you especially if you rely on my media, right? I'm going to announce it in my newsletter. There's going to be 60, 70 people that want to come. You have the space for it. So a 10 by 10 is going to be an issue. Then people are going to be able to hear you, right? So you got to have headsets for sure, because otherwise it's going to be like really difficult to deliver. Then they're going to be able to see a screen behind them, right? So
well,
with
kind
slides.
of knowing who else is around you and what those other spaces are like too, right?
Exactly, right? Enough space, communicate it well. If you're able to get on the official program of the show, is always a draw. And follow up as well. Like whenever you come to my sessions at the booth, you always have QR code. You download the slides, so there's always a follow up with the company we work with, and that works incredibly well. I mean, then you have to obviously find a content that is valuable. It doesn't have to be necessarily a presenter. It could be an influencer, meet and greet, an author,
we didn't even
whatever.
Talk about that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the influencers.
That's so good. Okay, final. Well, probably we have time for one more question or couple more. Where's the chat? I want to see the chat. Are you still there in the chat?
Yeah, I think we're skipping this
sure
one.
You are. I mean, we can talk about it. It's fine. How can exhibitors design booth activations that create genuine FOMO, drawing attendees without feeling gimmicky or forced? Now, here's the thing, though, JD. I would ask you, like, why are we creating FOMO at a booth level, right? Do we want to create FOMO? I mean, yes, you could create that. If you're giving away stuff, a line is going to form. No question about it. Like, you know, especially like, you know, customizing things. It's also like, you know, something that is working so well. I mean, I was recently at a Canadian event where visit, I can't remember what. Oh my God, it's not coming to me. But anyway, one of the major cities, I should have remembered that. They were having a custom, I can't remember what it was, like tea bags or whatever, customizing, like I've seen biscuits, cookies with it. custom cookies printed. The custom thing, whatever it is, custom merchandise always works because there's people like essentially like harvesting for their children and giving them away in most cases, traveling for work, but like that works. But then again, once we form that line, what happens with that? Like, is it a line of people that are freeloading, or is it a line of people of customers? This is always a question that you have to ask for yourself. I mean, the attention, this is why I love content, because content is always going to be relevant. The people that show up there, they're there to listen to something that has something to do.
They're already engaged. They want to know more. Yeah.
So, think about like having multiple applications of it. Okay, let's look at Caitlin here. How to balance between exhibit hold time and content to ensure attendees aren't pulled from content but have sufficient time. Hilary, what do you think about this?
So I thought about this with this event. So they opened the doors at 8 a.m., which actually conflicted with the keynote. So they kept the show floor open, and I think part of their strategy, they had stages. I don't think we talked about that. There was 2 stages on the exhibitor floor. We talked about all the experiential stuff, the brain date, all those activations were part of that show floor. And so I didn't really think of it as 2 different experiences. It kind of just felt like one. You weren't really, I guess what I'm trying to say is you weren't really picking and choosing, because I know what you're talking about, Caitlin, there is that conflict in your mind of like, I really want to experience the exhibitor hall and see what's going on there, but I have these sessions that I also want to see. I felt they did a great job because they had the expo floor open and available to people for a long time. So I was in there at 8 a.m. sharp. And so I was able to experience almost the entire floor before sessions even started, which I thought was brilliant. And not only that, but people were queuing up for the keynote. So it was a little bit slower, not as crowded. But then later in the day, like for example, tonight, they're keeping it open, I think, till 7 a.m. They're doing a karaoke session. They're doing, and that's all happening. Colin Jost, I think, is doing a comedy show on the main stage. Awesome. And so they're just going to turn that whole downstairs area into a party, basically.
Exactly. And I feel like that's awesome. What you want to do, right? You want to keep the action going in the same places for as much as possible. What I don't like is the traveling, because of course you got to have clashes. It's inevitable.
Sure.
With 12,000 people, you can't have one single track and have everybody move doing the same thing all the time. With smaller events, maybe you want to evaluate that. You want to have a single track with people doing things together, almost like you're in an all-inclusive resort, right? Where it's like, now we're playing the happy hour game, and then we're going to the club night. So you're moving all together. But 12,000 people event, you can't afford to that. So you want to keep things together for as much as possible. And also, like, I guess the idea here is not to overcram it with content. I feel like what I'm recommending for smaller size events, we're talking about 2,000 to 3,000 people, is to have these main stage moments, right? With areas of white space where people are free to wander and do whatever they want. So the agenda is not like as imposing. And then micro events on the side where people like can be in their own content, stream. And like, if I'm interested in events and I'm here at HubSpot, I'm just attending the micro event for event marketers, and that's that. That's my content, and that's what I'm going to be exposed to. And then I'm going to go to main stage whenever I want. So I can go back to the small and big together, and then have white space to go in the registration area. So
something else I want to add to that kind of came to mind for me is I've been to South by a couple times, and what I love about that experience, they're very honest about, they don't like the term FOMO. They think if you're going to miss stuff. That is going to happen. So what you need to do is create a culture at your event where the attendee is very present in what they're doing and feeling fulfilled with that and not wondering what are they missing out on. So I think there is an opportunity as an event professional community to do more of that and kind of get away from this FOMO language because I don't think it's the right approach. You said it, and I've said it for presentations around the world for the past 2.5 years. FOMO is great for marketing, but in-event FOMO, not good. Especially if I paid $1,500 to be there. I mean, I don't want to miss out on anything. I want to see it all. So you can't tell me I missed this and that. Especially for sessions. I haven't attended a single session at Inbound, right? So, but I want to have access to the sessions. Are you going to give it to me after the event? Because that could help, right? Because I still want to access the content, but I'm here to connect with people,
not to listen to content. What is going to be groundbreaking that you haven't covered in a 3-hour podcast already? So we already know that. So, okay, 1 minute for a final 2 questions. So first off, Leslie, what type of exhibitors are here? Inbound tech companies for the most, I must say, right?
Yeah, a lot of tech companies. There were some event tech companies.
Event tech
too.
companies,
Yeah.
a couple. Yeah, we've seen that. I mean, so yeah, that's great.
A lot of like mostly integrations with HubSpot, which of course that makes sense. There was a whole AI area as well with a lot of AI companies.
A lot of AI. So speaking about AI, Jack Dish here is asking, do you use AI in our workflow? I mean, honestly, Jack Dish, I'll be honest, it's like ChatGPT, Anthropic, N8N. That's what we're looking at. Everything else is just like versions of these tools with some level of like, oh, we're cool and different, but we're using ChatGPT models. So this is like what you should be concerned with. And there's some interesting and nice applications in the events industry. Go to my Twitter account and see what I think about AI tools in the events industry. All right, final question here from Adriana. Are people still giving out swag? If so, what was odd? Oh my God.
The first one that comes to mind for me, we walked into this one booth and they were giving away dry ice cream. It was in these packets and you could choose your flavor. I'm bringing it home to my kids. I haven't tried it yet, so I'll let you all know. But
yeah, I'm gonna take it and bring it home to my kids. Yeah, sure. In my hotel room, I'm gonna have it all for myself. Hilary, this has been incredible. I had such a blast.
So much fun.
We should do this again.
From beginning to end. I enjoyed yesterday, the whole thing. Yeah, it's been
Are you gonna be back for Dreamforce? Maybe we'll see you there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You're going,
see
right?
What happens, right?
Yeah.
So this has been incredible. I hope you enjoyed this format. We're about to end, and it's been great. I'll see you at the next one.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.